class and also life skills class. Anybody in here ever thought about having their own business someday? All right. Do you know that you can have your own business no matter what your age? You can be a teenager and have your own business?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
This is Christian Untermeyer, and Christian has his own online business.
Started in 2020, 2019, like a long time
Okay,
ago.
and Christian is 14, and I just thought, Mr. DeVries and I thought that it would be really cool for you guys to hear from an actual person around your age group who has their own business. And Christian is a wealth of knowledge about ants, which is what he sells. So-
Okay, thank you, Mary. So today I'm going to be talking about AntsFlorida, a small business I created, again, in 2019, 2020. It's still here, website being built. So, my story, how I became an entrepreneur. I was introduced 10 years old, and I went to my friend's house, and I saw this. He had 5 of these, 6 of these, with ants full of them, thousands of ants. I wanted them from him. He said no, because this is $200 a piece. So that's expensive. Plus, 3-year-old colony, which pretty long. So I wanted to learn more. Ant Basics 101. So how he taught me is he'd go outside after it rained or a day after. I would find something, an ant, right? I'd find a test tube. And then I'd put them in the test tube and then put them in a dark, calm spot. And then once I found them, after a week of looking, I found my first queen ant, AntsFlorida. So I was so excited. That's the Florida carpenter. This is what they look like. The Florida carpenter ant is a species found in Florida. It's flying around April to May. So right now, I'm looking for them at the moment. I didn't bring my colony too big. It's like 200 workers, 300 workers, pretty large in size. So I had a big problem. I had too many of the same queen ants. I wanted different species, but no fun. So there's different species in different states. There could be different carpenter ants in different states. Like our state has AntsFlorida, another species, and then we have more that are more rare. Sometimes you can't really find them. So I looked online to see if other people sell them. On Etsy, I found that actually people sold them, so I wanted to learn more how I could start selling them because it's free. Grand opening of Ant Queen for Life. Walmart name came up with that at the top of my head. I can change it, that's what Mary said, change the name if I find a better one. So the first day went great. I sold 8 queen ants, which is making $350. I didn't really have boxes, so it's kind of just what I found. Boxes from them, I just took off the shipping label and put my own. It continued for 3 months. 3 months, that's a long time, probably went up $400 to $500. And then I had issues receiving my funds. Just scammers in general, saying that they didn't receive it when they did, it's just annoying. So then I started researching other platforms. I found that eBay I could use the same exact way. It was fairly easy to move. Most of my audience moved to eBay, started purchasing, they said it was easier. So then I could print out my own shipping labels from my house. So that means that I would have to go all the way to UPS, I would have to buy a shipping label from UPS, which is 4 is like $30, that's expensive for shipping labels, but on eBay it's $8 a piece, that's at least cheaper. And then I got my funds way easier and faster, 10 times faster actually. My business today, I sold 40 queen ants in the last week, that's $800 in profit in 1 week. I sold usually to Canada, to the USA, both business overheads $100, which includes costs for promotional material like packaging, which is like this. We have stickers, another sticker, this, and then inside we have cotton and a business card, which takes out some of my money from it. So it's $700 profit. My future vision for AntsFlorida. I'm currently building a website that should be launching on May 1st, maybe May 2nd, depends. But it gives me 100% control over my audience. So that means that scammers can't really say something that they didn't get. So like they can write a review to eBay, right? And they say, I didn't receive it. There's dead bots on the servers. So they'll accept it or they won't. And then real people actually go over the case, but sometimes they don't get to that, so eBay automatically accepts it. I'm able to do offers for items and discounts items, so maybe on Christmas, Halloween, any other place like Easter coming up, I could say there's a percentage off on this item because it's Easter. it gives me the opportunity to share the hobby with millions more people, because I could link a YouTube channel. It's just the same. My carpenter ants today, my Kavanaugh's for Donascon is 2 workers and 1 queen. They had only 1 queen in a test tube at the start. So you can see the growth. It took 4 years to get 200 workers. That's a long time for a carpenter ant. They can usually live to 12 to 15 years in one time frame. So that's pretty much like your house dog, live that long. What's the ant community like? Ant keepers are everywhere. They could be in this building, could be in this room, they could be your neighbor. There's over 60 million ant keepers all over the world, not including the ones that are getting into the hobby. It's a very nice and helpful community. If you want to get involved, come to me after. I'll tell you how to do this stuff. Fun facts about ants. There's over 12,000 ant species worldwide, not including the ones that are being actually found today. Bullet ants are said to have the most painful sting in the world. I actually almost got stung by one of these girls in Costa Rica. They say it's like being shot by a bullet. That's why they're called bullet ants. Fire ants cause 3 billion worth of damages a year, not including deforestation and such, because fire ants are fire ants. Actually, ants are the longest living insect in the whole world. So, because 12 to 15 years, pretty long, it's like a dog. Ants are the world's strongest insect or creature relevant to their size. Because it's like saying 10 people lift an elephant, ants can lift the same exact thing. But relevant to their size, it's an elephant. And then all worker ants are females, including the queen. So the queen is kind of their sisters. They have their sisters. Doesn't really make sense only if you get into the hobby. And then, does anybody have questions? Okay, what's your question?
So how many times do you usually get like bit by ants and stuff? Cause like if you're collecting ants every day, you must be getting bit all the time.
Oh yeah, so I pretty much accept every offer on eBay because it gives me more money.
Stung, bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, bit by ants.
Yeah.
Oh, how many I get bit by?
Yeah.
A lot of the time. I get bit all the time. All the time. Most of the. Okay. What's your question?
How do you like get the ants? Like
Find them in pools, blue lights at night. It's just every night.
How do
Every
you
day.
like grab it? Like
I put the test tube open, put it on the ground, they walk into it. They're
Really?
not smart. They just walk in. So the test tubes usually look like this. I don't know who came up with the idea to have a test tube, but it's like water, and then there's a cotton ball, and the water can't pass through it, but they can drink through it. It's like a sponge kind of. People use sponges too, but it's cheap, and then you can just open it and close it. And they grow during time frame. It depends on which ants. They could grow. Takes 2 months to get their first worker. It could take a week. It's fast sometimes. Any more questions? All right, what's your question?
Are those like little tanks that they're for sale?
Oh yeah, so this is tar teal ant. I don't know what got their name. It's a weird name, but they have really cool ant things. It's like different websites do different containers, yeah. And this is my favorite. These are super expensive. This is like, say $100, $50. This is $250. I think it's $300 now because that's an older model, and it's better because it's bigger. But these are usually my favorite. This is what my carpenter ants are in right now, but I didn't bring them because they'd get too stressed out.
So you sell the ants and then they buy the containers and they put them in there and colonize them.
Yeah, so they buy these. I buy these also because I can't make them myself. I don't even know how they make them really, because I don't know if they do it by hand or actually if somebody builds them and then gives it to them. Yeah, what's your question?
about how many ants have you sold in all?
2,000.
2,000?
Just last week you sent like 48 boxes, right?
Well, if it's over 3 years, 4,000, 5,000, a lot, because it's an endless supply. Ants fly every year, and then they fall to the ground, break off their wings, do the same thing over and over and over. Yeah, ants have wings. Queen ants have wings.
And what do you sell them in? Do you sell them in the box?
Test tubes, or I sell them with the test tube and the container.
Show me your box, how you deliver them. So if you bought one,
Oh yeah, so just like this. So you buy one, you get this, business card, and then you get the ant inside of it. This one's massive. It's from Tennessee. But you would pretty much get that. Yeah, that's the queen.
Oh, can you bring it closer?
Pass it around.
So how much is it? Oh, wow, that's really big. So, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Can you give us
Will
an
it
idea?
bite?
No, they don't bite.
Really?
Go in the front. Christian, right in the front.
Oh, what's your question?
How much is that? Oh, God.
The box or the queen?
No,
Yes,
it's
we-
my bad.
Oh, $40.
Oh, that's.
They're cheap right now. I used to sell them for so much money. It's crazy.
How much is the antique oxygen?
That one's 15 years at most. It depends on the species.
They only use a little bit of water.
Christian, tell them how you revive them out of the pool when they're dead.
Oh, my friend taught me how to kind of do CPR. It's weird, but you pretty much press on their abdomen a little bit and then blow into it. And they don't really have lungs, so they have airways. It's kind of like circles. It blows out the water out of them. So the water comes out. Yes.
Yes.
How do you clean it up? Yeah, how do you clean it?
So they don't really they're actually really clean and neat. They put all their trash here, like in the end. They throw it out, they throw it in there, and then have to open it and get in there. Yeah, they pretty much just drag it and then just put it there. And then they find a trash bag. And they have eggs also, cocoons, larvae.
Oh my gosh, you ever picture of a pregnant ant?
The queens are pregnant.
Oh, really?
For 15 years they're pregnant. Yeah, they lay about 100, 200 eggs.
Like, so how much of this, like, what?
For the queen or for the whole thing? If I sold that, especially, it'd be like 120. But what people do is they buy the queen and then they buy the setup. So it's cheaper. Bundles are
Christian,
What's your question?
Oh, sorry. How much money per ant, or do you sell it like pounds? Or like a
Pretty much one by one. I like I sell one and then they buy another one.
how much is
But
that?
if I do bundles, it's both of the prices combined.
For 1 inch, she said how much?
Oh, it depends on the species, how hard it is, how easy it is to find. If I find 10 of them, the price goes lower. If I find one, it goes higher. What's your? No, they just all die. They kill each other.
What about the last one's name?
It kills itself. Yeah, it eats itself. How do you tell guys? Yeah, it's so weird. It depends on the species. Carpenter ants shoots too for
Yes.
no, well, if the eggs hatch in a week, then it grows and grows and grows and grows.
Some larvae in there. You know,
Christian,
I think they eat them, but you can.
You in the back?
how do, like, queen ants come around?
So they fly during months. It's like winter ants fly in the winter. In the summer, there's mostly ants. They fly in the sky, mate, and then the males die. Every single female ants in general, all girls, and they fall. But the workers are infertile. The queens are the only ones that can mate for life, pretty much.
How is, like, how, there's, what's the way, how's the queen chosen or something, like?
They actually have their own workers. So like they have their own eggs, which are workers, and that they commit like a language and scent. I think ants are blind, but I can't prove that. I'm pretty sure they are blind. So. Some ants can see, some can't. But like when I come up to them, they see me. So. What's your question?
How do you know what kind of, like, ants are, like?
I look it up. Like if I want to find the species, I look up pictures, see like cross compare. I'm sometimes wrong. Like a few days ago, I was wrong with species, which said people were like, I got the wrong thing. I'm like, it's not my fault, but you never know. There's ants that look exactly alike, but they're totally different. What's your
So
question?
is a queen ant born a queen ant?
Yeah, so this queen one day will have her own queens that are copies of herself. So she has queen eggs and male eggs. Male eggs are infertile eggs, so like if you don't fertilize them, they're male ants. and if they're fertilized, they're queen ants, or workers, or majors. And they will all fly together with other colonies, and they do a thing, and then they fall, and it starts all over. And it's just forever. What's your question?
How do ants like help the ecosystem? Is like something like special
They eat like anything. They'll eat anything.
They kill like more like
They'll kill
carcasses.
cockroaches. They'll bring them to the nest. They'll kill any insect. Birds. They'll eat birds.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if it's a dead bird,
They're
or if
carcasses.
it's alive, they'll crawl up its leg and sting it.
Ooh.
If they're strong enough to put a venom that will kill the
Like a
bird,
boar then.
yeah, they'll come up and will sting it and kill it.
What do you feed them?
What do I feed them? I have feeder insects like crickets, like how you feed lizards, all those feeder insects. I do the same thing for my ants. They're pretty much like lizards kind of in diet. They eat worms and insects and all of that other stuff.
But it's important that we do protein and stuff too.
Sugar,
Yeah,
too.
protein and sugar. They need protein to grow eggs. And then they drink sugar to keep alive themselves.
These past 3 years, how much have you made those surprises?
On eBay, it said 2,000. On Etsy, it's 1,000. And then my website, I think I'm gonna make double that. Because I think they'll think there's more stuff on the website. I'll start going.
What's the website that you call?
AntsFlorida.com. Easy name.
But right now, if you're looking for, it's AntsFlorida on Etsy, right?
No, on eBay.
On eBay, sorry.
Etsy's gone. It's because they would just like, it's just Etsy's not easy in that way for ants. It's kind of live insects that kind of hard to sell on Etsy.
So do those tubes that you sell them in have food in them? Or
Some ants eat food while they're in that stage. Some ants don't for 2 months. They won't eat. And then the workers have the job to go find food. And if they don't, the queen dies.
How long can they survive without food and water?
Ants cannot survive without water. But I'd say a week without water they could survive. And then food, 2 months, 3 months maybe. It depends because ants go into hibernation kind of like a bear.
So I'm wondering what took it from just a hobby to like,
Oh,
yeah,
my
to
friend.
maybe make some money on
So
this,
my
like-
friend showed me actually a YouTube channel that had people that sell ants and buy ants and show their ants in kind of like a documentary way. So I wanted to do the same thing.
And he would catch them, and we had what, how many boxes in the garage with thousands of ants?
He had
He was like,
thousands of ants, like all
But
tested.
they were in another country, and Christian was the first to start one in Florida.
Nice.
I think there's one in New York, Canada, and the Philippines, and then somewhere in London. There's not many, but there's a lot. What's your question?
Like, one day if you're older and your business like gets really big, you can go expand that.
Well, actually, the whole business is in Florida, but you can ship ants to different states. It's like shipping from different states. I could ship it to London if I wanted, but the problem with that is they'll die in the process, because I mean, having something in a hot box shaking around for a month maybe, is not good for ants. What's your question?
If they wanted a queen ant, would they have to request for one?
What do you mean, like?
Or you just want to?
So remember, without a queen
So it says on the website which exactly one. There's like this carpenter ant and this other one. It's like they're both the same species, but one's a different color than the other, and they have different colored workers. So that's why people like different types. Like these ones are all black, these ones are bright orange. It's like different, but they're both carpenter ants.
Kind of like picking out a pair of sneakers, right? You don't look at sneakers, just pick the one you want. Same thing on the
Yeah,
other
same
side.
thing.
Can you give an example of some places that you've sent, mailed your ants to?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know for sure that every single state in the USA, like this week when I sold 40, it was, I think, 2 in Canada. So, because they're scared that if it comes in dead, then we don't give live insects return for eBay, because that's eBay's policy. We can't really change that.
So what would your policy be? How do you make sure that people?
If it's dead, you cut off the head, and then you send a picture showing that it's actually dead, because that's the only way people return ants. If their whole colony's dead.
Awesome. Any other questions?
How much you make this past week?
I said that.
You
700?
did? Okay. Sorry.
How do you see your company like growing? I guess it's something you plan to continue doing for a while, or?
So I'm gonna have other businesses I wanna do, but this is gonna be there, cause it's still my hobby. So I'm not gonna catch it like every day, like I do now, cause I'm gonna have a job or something else. This is just like a side thing, it's fun.
Nice.
That's it.
I don't know, ask them. Any more questions?
Can you do that?
Do you wanna open this thing and just show them what you're working on, or no? No, okay.
I would have to connect to the
It's
internet.
in,
Oh, okay, gotcha, that's fine. All right, well, I think that was